What's up guys, David Land here bringing you a LEGO review. Yes, this is the 2017 Speed Champions 2016 Ford GT and the 1966 Ford GT40 set. It's 366 pieces, as you can read on the box, and retails for $30. It is an exclusive to US Toys R Us stores and or your local LEGO store if you're lucky enough to have one of those in your area. This set was originally teased by LEGO for the 2016 24 Hours of Le Mans, which was Ford's return to the GT category with this car right here, the Ford GT. Now, at the time, LEGO denied that they were going to make this set. In fact, they showed both of these cars in the little special CGI video they showed for the 24 Hours of Le Mans, but as it turned out, the multi-billion-dollar company was doing a little bit of a game and lying a bit to us because, of course, this set showed up in the 2017 Speed Champions line. And as a racing fan, as somebody who loves the 24 Hours of Le Mans and really supports the Ford GT program, this is a must-get set. As you can tell from the back of the box, there's a lot of stuff to go over, so let's start. We'll start off with the smallest bit of the set, and it's this Podium Finish, sponsored apparently by Ford, which includes this trophy here that's very reminiscent of the 24 Hours of Le Mans trophy. It's not an exact replica, but it does evoke that quite a bit. I think the Le Mans trophy is 4 wide rather than 2 wide, but yeah, that is a thing there, and you can put the trophy there. In fact, you can put a minifigure on there, as we'll show off later. So here's the Ford logos. Very nice sticker here. Remember, this is a model kit, even though the building medium is LEGO. You're going to have a lot of stickers to put on. As you can see, all of these are stickers here on the podium. Actually gives a really big Rolex style vibe to this, which is a nice attention to detail by LEGO because of the fact that it feels very Rolex-y, and that's, of course, invokes a bit of Le Mans there. So what you can do with this podium, it's pretty simple, straightforward. It's not a very big part count there. You can take a LEGO minifigure and you can stick them on the podium. And you can do that with all 3 spots on the podium. And for a small part count, it definitely gives you a nice representation of a victory podium for a race. So this is a nice thing for kids who get the set, but obviously the big draw for the adults and maybe the older kids in the audience is the cars. So let's start looking at those. So the first car we're going to take a look at is the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans overall winner, the Ford GT40. A beautiful, beautiful representation here. Actually a stellar job by LEGO to get this car into LEGO form and be able to build it with bricks and not make it look unlike the Ford GT40. Obviously, I've reviewed actually a GT40 before on this channel, and it was the #1 car, which was driven by Ken Miles, and I can't remember the other driver's name. May have been, it was an Australian driver. I know Bruce McLaren drove this one. Obviously, Ford had a lot of famous drivers at this point. This came from the Shelby American team. There was actually 2 teams that ran these GT40s in those days, and it was the Holman Moody team and the Shelby American team. And this car, the #2 car, was from the Shelby American team. In fact, the Shelby American team had the first 2 finishers in the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans, and the Holman Moody team was 3rd, but an absolutely beautiful model. And I kind of want to look at some of the details here. Obviously, there's a lot of stickers on this, as you would expect from a LEGO model, but they got the lines really right, I would say, with this car. Obviously, you can't get everything correct, but I think they did a really good job. This is a sticker here, which helps kind of define the line that goes all the way down the body and all the way to the back spoiler with these exhaust ports here, which were important to get right as well on this car. Really good design features, I would say. Just a very nice looking car. I especially like these air scoops here. This is kind of an essential part of the Ford GT40, and I'm really glad they got this done. Just very nice. I believe Bruce McLaren and Chris Amon were the two drivers. Then again, maybe Amon was in the number one car. I can't remember. Definitely Bruce McLaren was one of the drivers, and it might have been Chris Amon or it might have been somebody else. So let's take a look in the cockpit here real quick. There's not too much to go over here. It is just a very simple cockpit, but the driver figure fits in there really nicely. You can see the back window there, which is really cool because it actually lifts up a little bit. Really cool technique that Lego used to build that. But it does go together really easily. Certainly Lego did their homework when designing this car. I love the rims as well. Just gives you that vintage racing feel really well. Of course, got a little bit of hair in there, dog hair, cat hair, some kind of hair in there. Sometimes that happens with Lego bricks, that stuff gets stuck in there. And of course you've got the rear end of the car. Just a really nice looking model, which is really cool because this isn't the first classic race car that Lego has done. You may notice in the background, if you're a Lego fan, what set that is and what car comes with that set, which is the Porsche 917K. Now these cars weren't technically rivals. This was a GT category car. Obviously, the GT and GT40 comes from that GT classification, and this car was in a different class, whatever the equivalent of prototype is now. That's where the Porsche 917 was. But they did end up having an epic confrontation in the 1969 24 Hours of Le Mans when the first version, not the 917K, but the 917 regular, went up against the Ford GT40 and actually produced the closest finish in the history of the 24 Hours of Le Mans between those two cars, with a pass on the last lap by the GT40 around the 917. But the 917 is a really nice model. If you don't have it, I would highly suggest picking up the Porsche 919 Hybrid and 917 pack, because while it is a bit expensive, it is an absolutely wonderful representation of this car. Fantastic. So we've actually got two 24 Hours of Le Mans winners, by the way, too. This is the 1970 winner. This is the 1966 winner. And you can see the transition as racing went from the classic era into the modern era. And speaking of the modern era, let's move on to a very modern supercar. Of course, modern sports car fans will know this car very well. It is the 2016 Ford GT, and really you can add the LM because that's what it's really called. This car competes both in the GT-LM category of IMSA in the United States and in Europe and across the world in the GTE category of the World Endurance Championship, and that's the class it races in at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which it won in its first outing for Ford Chip Ganassi Racing, though it wasn't the 66 car which took that victory. Though the 66 car, appropriately, I would say, is the appropriate choice for this set, because of the connection to the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans winner. This is an absolutely fantastic model. They did a fantastic job of capturing the look of the Ford GT in Lego. Now, there are a lot of stickers on this thing, so that's going to be, that's a concern of yours, you're just going to have to get your sticker game on point, because there are a lot of stickers, but they're essential to get the details right, of course. Really good details on this car. I can't wait to take a closer look. As you can see from that rear end shot, man, that is perfect. I mean, that's dead on. It's amazing how good the Lego designers have gotten over the years. When I was a kid, these models were very, very simple, especially the race cars. It was like you were lucky to get, 4 wheels and maybe a wing or two on the car. But nowadays, you've got virtually, this really is, to me, a model more than it is an actual Lego set. This really is a passable model of a Ford GT. And I'm glad we're getting all this Ford GT merchandise. It's definitely fun to have these kind of what is described in the industry as a hero car, a car that everybody knows what it is, that the marketers at Ford know exactly how to market it, and everybody knows Ford GT is a Ford. But just look at the detail there with these little scoops here on the side. which actually have the little air channel as well. This is just a really great, very detailed model. You can get the little Michelin logos there. I do love the rear wing. They did this incredibly. In fact, the whole rear end of the car is just incredibly well done. The diffuser there done with these little corner bricks there. You've got the exhaust port as well. You've got the rear tail lights, the GT logo, the Castrol Edge logos, powered by Ford EcoBoost. The rear wing is just absolutely fantastic. Maybe the best looking and most accurate rear wing I've seen on any of these Speed Champion sets. And just a really incredible model. I do love the two-tone wheels they give you. They give you a slightly less silver inside rim to put on this car to kind of give it that really nice look. And it's just a beautiful model. They got the chin spoiler just right. Some of these Speed Champion sets are a little bit iffy on how they look with their overall presentation. This one, absolutely bang on. There's the cockpit detail, which really isn't much detail at all. But yeah, the colors, again, the modeling is just, I mean, look at the proportions there. Just spectacular. Just spectacular. I mean, this is, if you're a Ford GT fan, this is definitely something to pick up. And of course, there are other GT-LM cars you can pick up, or GTE cars. This is one I had kind of in storage that I just decided to open up and put together just for the purposes of this review. It's the Ferrari 458 Italia. Technically not a competitor anymore. They've actually moved on to the 488 GTE, but it's a close enough approximation to the competitor, and in fact, the chief competitor to Ford at the 2016 24 Hours of Le Mans, kind of rekindling the Ford-Ferrari rivalry that actually birthed the Ford GT. If you have any interest in actually learning the history of the Ford GT project, a book called Go Like Hell by A.J. Baim is absolutely one of the best reads you can possibly do to learn about the Ford GT and the Ford GT40 and why the car was produced. Long story short, Ferrari was about to be bought by Ford. Enzo Ferrari pulled the plug, and Ford, to get back at Ferrari, decided to hit Ferrari where it hurt, which was the racetrack at that point. So Ford built a car to beat Ferrari at his own game at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and that's how we got the Ford GT40. So this rivalry will continue on, and it can continue on your Lego table. So let's take a quick look at the minifigures that come in this set, because there are some really cool ones. It seems like more and more, as LEGO kind of becomes a bigger company, the minifigures become a bigger and bigger draw to buying a set. And I would say in the Speed Champions, these cars are definitely the stars, and the minifigures, ironically, actually kind of take a back seat to the cars. However, in this set, the minifigures are absolutely wonderful. Particularly this one right here, the modern Ford GT driver. So let's turn all these around because actually, let's just take a look real quick at this guy in detail, who is the 1960s Ford driver. And I love the fact that they used an off-white color for his uniform. It really gives you that vintage look that I'm glad LEGO went with, because it just looks absolutely fantastic. Very, very classic. You could see this guy in the Indy 500 of the day, or a Le Mans race, or a Grand Prix. You could see him in anything, because it's just, that's very classic. So a great minifigure there. In fact, let's turn him around so you can kind of get a view of the back. The second figure that you get is this kind of mechanic for Ford. He comes with a checker flag, so you can wave the checker flag, and a wrench, so he can just do, he's a multitasker. Comes with a blue hat, and he's got this stubble, the beard stubble going on here. This set, actually, I could see buying multiples of. I could see myself buying multiples of if there's a sale, because you do get these minifigures that are pretty generic, and you can swap, of course, you can swap the heads on minifigures and kind of create new ones, but this is how LEGO puts it in the instruction manual, so I decided to build it to the manual. And then the really nice looking minifigure, which is the modern Ford GT driver, and I'm pretty sure this was modeled on Sebastian Bourdais, of all people, who actually helped win the 24 Hours of Le Mans for Ford. He was one of the winning drivers in that car that won the race, and of course he's got glasses on, so as far as I'm aware, he's the only Ford GT driver who drives with glasses. You got the Ford logo, the WEC logos, the Castrol Edge logo, the Michelin logo, Ford, and then you get printing all the way down his pants with the Sparco logo as well on there. Just an incredibly detailed minifigure. In fact, one of the most detailed minifigures I've seen come out of this Speed Champions line. And I've bought most of the sets just because of the fact that I am a racing fan. And I do love me some Lego sometimes, so it's great to get these wonderful representations of race cars. So let's take a look at the set all in detail and actually go over a few of the other Speed Champions sets that are out right now. So there it is, the Lego Speed Champions Ford GT set, Ford GT 2-pack, I guess you could say. An absolutely wonderful set as a motorsports fan to get. I mean, it's oozing with history, oozing with detail. Fantastic. So here's a few other of the Speed Champions sets to take a look at. This is the Ferrari FXX or whatever. I can't remember the exact name of the car, but it's a experimental Ferrari road car and a wind tunnel, which is fairly interesting. So if you're a Ferrari fan, you might want to pick that one up. There's also the Mercedes AMG SLS GT3 car, which is one I'll definitely be picking up because of the fact that it's a GT3 car. So it's a race car. Of course, you got the Ford GT set that we already took a look at. You've got the Bugatti Chiron, otherwise known as the new Veyron to sane people. Then you've also got the Ferrari Formula 1 car, which is very nice to see. That's a cheap set. In fact, I should say this set is $50. These two are $14.99. This one is $30, as you guys know. Another $14.99 one. And here's one for $100, which is a Mercedes AMG Petronas 2-pack. Which comes with a big old winner's podium, lots and lots of curbing and such, garage area. You've got all sorts of mechanics, a hairpin turn with a camera from Monaco. You've got a pit wall there with a starting gate, and you've also got Nico Rosberg's number 6 Mercedes AMG Petronas car, and Lewis Hamilton's number 44 AMG Petronas car. Now what's interesting is they didn't go with actual realistic skin tones for the drivers, so they are just the yellow Lego generic bricks, but taking a close look at these the driver figures in the stores, they clearly modeled the driver of the number 6 car after Nico Rosberg, and clearly after the driver of the number 44 Petronas car after Lewis Hamilton, which I kind of found kind of funny. The only problem with this set is the green is not really teal. It's very much a green set rather than a teal set. So the F1 cars don't particularly look as accurate as you'd like them to, but that might be a fun one to pick up one of these days. So that is the Ford GT Lego set. Don't expect too many other Lego set reviews on my channel, but these special Speed Champion sets, especially when they have to do with racing and motorsports that I really do care about, I definitely like to review them. And it just came out, so go down to your local Toys R Us or your Lego store, drop 30 bucks, it's a good deal. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more motorsport content. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.